November in 1972, Great Britain were fortunate enough to lift the World Cup. Sadly, 40 seconds away last week, we thought perhaps that England, as they are called now, were on their way to take on the mighty Aussies and maybe replicate that 1972 victory.
You were wrong.
You were wrong.
Did that come from an Australian saying we were?
I wanted to make you.
I agree. We were robbed. Naturally, after 41 years, it has been an amazing, shall we say, history lifted that trophy since. And that is the reason why we have organised here tonight a reunion 41 years way back on the 11th of November 1972. And I just would like you now to welcome into the room some of the players who are still alive. Sadly, we have lost so many of that great team, and I can assure you that we all remember those great players. And first of all, from the Bradford Northern Club as it was then, David Redfern. Photos around the room that quite a few of us don't appear to have the same hairstyle as we had way back in 1972. The next is the loose forward from Widnes, George Nichols. Widnes, the little dynamite, little scrum half from standoff, was a great halfback. Dennis O'Neill. Running second rower that not only played for Hull Kingston Rovers but plied his trade down in Australia with Manly, and I refer to that great second rower, Phil Lowe. I've ever produced in this country. And I refer to a man that has played for many, many clubs, but in 1972 he was one of the greatest second rowers running around. I refer to, of course, Brian Lockwood. St Helens Club, perhaps one of the finest centre three-quarters I have seen or played against in the St Helens colours. He was inducted into the St Helens Hall of Fame, and I refer to, of course, the great centre, John Walsh. Great centre, also played for Great Britain in that wonderful day in 1972. I refer to a man who was magic with the ball, but was brilliant in defence. From Salford, Chris Hesketh. And certainly, not least, I hope, a man called Michael Stevenson. And maybe for you younger people, Steve-O. In fact, I think it's probably one of the best receptions I've ever received at St Helens. Could you just make me feel welcome and give me a round of boos, please? Now I can feel relaxed. Thank you very, very much indeed. It is a great privilege, as I say. It's rather sad in many ways that so many of our great players have gone upstairs into heaven, into that wonderful playing field that only God knows. But I'm sure that all those players that are not present tonight, that have passed away, they will be doing their bit above. I'd like you, if you would, please, not a minute's silence, but just please, a round of applause for those who have passed away. It certainly would be remiss of me not to introduce some of our wonderful guests from Australia. Some very, very fine players, I must say. It's an amazing thing to think that since 1910, when the Great Britain side went down to Australia and played the first tour, that we should have a great privilege to be continuing that wonderful test match situation, which I do hope. There are rumours that in 2015 that we may well send again a Great Britain side down under. Our mates in the Aussies, we had a comfortable win over Fiji. I think everybody anticipated that. I often wonder whether the New Zealand one was a bit of a shock to them. They just got home in the final 40 seconds. It was as simple as that. But over the years there have been some tremendous representatives in the green and gold, and we are very fortunate tonight that we can introduce them for you this evening. Mr. Bob McCarthy. In that 1972 World Cup final, the winger, John Grant. And a man who I have the utmost respect for over the years, a man who has gone on to be a successful business person in Australia, done a lot for rugby league in general, and I refer to Ron Coote. I love introducing this gentleman. I played against him many, many times. In Australia they call him a rascal. I'm not so sure what we call him in Great Britain. I refer to Tommy Ronicus. The last but not least of the Australian contingent, the man they call the Axe, Trevor Gilmeister. And what a lineup we have in regards to the many, many people that we have here. We have Paul Helens. Please stand, Paul. Andy Gregory. Frank Weiler. Terry Flanagan. And from New Zealand, Lance O'Hire. Irish international and great St Helens star, Tommy Martin. And of course, I certainly could not end this section without introducing one of the all-time greats, a man who is respected not only in this country, but down under in Australia and New Zealand. I refer to, of course, Alex Murphy. Please. We've got ties and we've got blazers and suits. This, I hope, will be a celebration, not only for the 1972 World Cup winning side, but for rugby league in general. I want you all to relax, have a good time, and let's hope that we certainly will do that this evening. Now, you may have noticed there are quite a few girls sort of floating around. There's a few things that we will be doing tonight. There will be raffles, there will be a little bit of fun here, there and everywhere, and you will notice that you have envelopes on the table, and if you could do us a favour and put your hands in your pocket and place a £5 note inside there. And for those that don't understand it, please put your name on it, otherwise you can't win a thing. Now you will also notice that on the table, these are from the House of Lords, the House of Lords teddy bear. They cannot be purchased by the general public, so therefore they are a collector's item. So if you don't mind, if you could just put your £5 in the envelope with your name, and then each individual table will be drawn round each table, so one of you lucky people will be able to pick up that wonderful teddy bear. Also, we have two charities, which of course is another important facet of what we are doing this evening. The Men of League from Australia and Rugby League Cares, two wonderful charities that continue on with the work of people who are injured, people who hit hard times. But those people are those that are connected to Rugby League. I hope that you do enjoy your evening. Thank you very much indeed.